I loved racing games. I spent most of my young prepubescent Cloudette years playing racing games. Forza? Oh my god, you better believe I was playing Forza Horizon. Not actually like playing the game though, just kind of riding around in the cars, staring at the really low quality scenery. You know, it was 2010, racing games weren't exactly high definition ray traced masterpieces, but like I still enjoyed looking at the scenery. Need for Speed Carbon? Why do you think I like carbon fibers so much, you know? That's because it looks pretty, actually. If I was to say it was because of the game, you would have believed me. But no, I just like Need for Speed Carbon. Basically, my life revolved around racing games. My parents didn't necessarily want to introduce me to the world of like violent video games or first-person shooter video games until I was older. But there was one day that changed everything. It was Christmas of 2010. We got invited to my cousin's house to hang out for a bit. And, you know, me, a 7-year-old who already wanted to avoid his family as much as possible, I did not want to go. I physically wanted to slash my parents' tires with like a kitchen knife or something so we couldn't go. But I'm glad that I was only 7 and had no access to knives, because if I didn't go to my cousin's house that night, my life wouldn't have changed the way that it did. When we got there, I immediately wanted to leave, and I even voiced this to everyone around me. I told everyone I wanted to leave. And my mom, looking for a way to, you know, shut me up, heard that my cousin's like girlfriend or something. I don't even know who she was. I hate my family and don't really care enough to know who she was. But she had an Xbox, and my mom took me to her room and said, "Here's the Xbox. Go crazy." So, do you remember that part of it being 2010 and Christmas? Well, that year, one game in particular was, you know, like the hot commodity gift for the Xbox gamies. And just so happened my cousin got that game. It's the coveted, get it? Because, oh man, this YouTube thing's never going to work. Halo Reach. It's Halo Reach. You know, it opened my eyes to the world of first-person shooters. And Master Chief, with his big sexy armor suit daddy muscles, introduced me to a whole new world outside of driving cars in circles for 4 hours. The more I used the assault rifle and pushed through levels, wiping out grunts and getting pissed off because I was out of ammo and had to switch to the Magnum, which I did hate at the time, I just couldn't help but fall more and more in love with this game. My attitude of wanting to set the house on fire just so we could leave, and there was a propane heater in there, I could have set the house on fire, but that feeling turned into me never wanting to leave. And Halo Reach immediately became my favorite game. And after we finally left that night, I peer pressured my parents into buying it for me because I'd already played it, might as well buy it for me. And I beat it in like a week because why not? I promise you Call of Duty's coming though. I promise you Call of Duty's coming. Don't leave. However, as I kept replaying it to see every new angle that I missed on like the previous playthrough, I kept thinking about the game. And something the way I felt about the game, like something about the way I felt off. Sure, I loved Halo Reach, and I still do to this day. I had a poster of the game in my room until I was like 17 years old, but I began realizing at that time that it wasn't the game itself that attracted me. It wasn't Halo necessarily. It was just the style. The style of first-person shooter was why I felt attracted to the game. This weird immersion that is created when you can only see the hands of the characters you're supposed to be, that immersion where you feel like you're truly that character and everything that happens is happening to you, you're now a part of the story. That immersion was what was keeping me hooked. This led me to seek out other games, you know, and sure enough, right there before me, as if it was crafted from God himself just for me. In 2011, what other game could it possibly be than Call of Duty 4? Yeah, my parents were in no way going to pay full price for a game that they knew nothing about while they were letting me experiment with which first-person shooter to play, like that young. I was not getting MW3 just yet. They actually found COD 4 at like a yard sale and brought it home to me to play, where they also found NBA 2K8, which caused me to become a massive NBA fan, but I digress. You know, I had heard of COD, but this was my first time actually playing COD. And, oh my god, what a Call of Duty that was to start out on, man. Call of Duty 4 is still one of the greatest Call of Duties of all time. The gunplay, the maps, the campaign, all gillied up, the YouTube content created about the game, all gillied up, the M16A4 all gillied up, the PC modded prop hunt game mode. Did I even mention all gillied up yet, bro? I love that mission so much. That game was one for the books, and that I'm so happy I got to start my Call of Duty journey there. Before I start like the true part of the video, I wanted to jump in here and say I wanted to give a shout out to a YouTuber named Nakey Jakey. I said that like he's a small creator that I'm shouting out to like millions of followers, but I wanted to shout him out because a lot of my style of pacing my videos is going to seem really similar to his. I took a lot of inspiration from him while still trying to keep my own style, you know? Like, I don't have a yoga ball or a New York City apartment, but like, if you like this kind of content, please go watch his channel. He is so much better at this than I am, and his content is genuinely what inspires me to do what I do. Second thing, also, there's like spoilers for every single game that you see on the screen right now. There was no way around it. I had to spoil a couple. If you want to experience any of that, please go experience that first and then come back. Because, I mean, please come back. Like, come back afterwards. I don't want to be sitting here talking to the wall again. Like, I can't do that anymore. But, like, please come back. But if you want to experience any of this, please go watch it first. The third and final thing is to just remember that this is all my opinion. I want to hear about your opinion down in the comments, like what you believe. But don't get mad at me over saying that I hate something, because I genuinely may hate something that you really enjoy. And this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that something is gospel. I'm just saying that I like something, I don't like something, this is what I think. What do you think? That kind of thing. So just be respectful. Keep it respectful in the comments. And let's get on with the video, baby. Call of Duty games have always been this kind of left Twix, right Twix situation where you have one hand, we'll call this left Twix, better known as Infinity Ward, churning out priceless, because alright, I'll stop now. Priceless campaigns only to miss the mark in so many other areas. On the other hand, you have right Twix, or Treyarch, who release banger after banger to make up for the mishaps of Infinity Ward. I'm allergic to chocolate, so I can't actually eat Twix, but I'm just going to assume that right Twix is better, so Treyarch gets it. But Treyarch has arguably always had the upper hand with their Black Ops series, but this started back in World at War. The introduction of zombies to this franchise that was focused mostly on war propaganda was genius. Not only did it introduce a new form of content to leave players like hooked for longer periods of time, but it also gave them a recipe to differentiate their games from Infinity Ward's. The Black Ops series was quickly picked up and favored by many with Black Ops 1. The introduction of a staple character who is this experienced war veteran to lead the youth in Woods was a slam dunk. Not to mention the beauty that is Mason, Reznov, etc. Then, do I even need to talk about Black Ops 2? Well, I actually will in my video about it. I'm planning a video to play every Call of Duty from 2003 to now and review each game in its own dedicated video. Those videos will be a long project, so please subscribe if you want to see those videos. But anyways, Black Ops 2 solidified right Twix as the dominant Twix for eternity, in my opinion. But then they released Black Ops 3, Cold War, and now they've got Black Ops 6? What do you mean I missed one? What do you mean? No, I think I got them all. Let's see. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3... Oh, come on, that one, okay, that one doesn't count. But Treyarch had made a statement that they were the dominant developer within the Call of Duty space. Even though they were the younger brother, they were still slamming more home runs than their older copycat stinky diaper of a brother, Infinity Ward. Left Twix, better known as Infinity Ward, may have been the initial developer of the series, and they may actually have some wins under their belt. The character of Price, the tragic events of Soap, the controversy of No Russian, which I consider a win because it is one of the most ruthless displays of here's why we should hate this guy in a video game to date. The multiplayers of the original MW2 and MW3, even their own game mode, which was called Spec Ops, Infinity Ward was making a case of being the dominant Twix, even as far along as 2011. They snapped back at Black Ops 1 with MW3. They were able to write arguably better campaign stories with Price than Treyarch could with Woods. They even helped develop my favorite Call of Duty and Call of Duty Ghosts. But with all of these shining accolades under their belt, they just still fail to compare to their younger brother, the other half of the Twix bar. Their games feel less polished, their stories don't make as much sense. They stopped with their main line of games to remaster their old games, even though it totally wasn't a remaster, and introduced a new story with new characters and new endings to those characters, which is totally brain dead stupid. Multiplayers felt less fun. Their special touches to their games began fading. It just wasn't the same anymore. Arguably, it isn't the same anymore. To this day, even when having 2 back-to-back years to release games while Treyarch cooked their next masterpiece, Infinity Ward arguably flopped both times with spits in the face of their fans. You all wanted Spec Ops? Screw you. Here's open world zombies. You want remasters of the traditional campaigns? Screw you. Here is an entirely separate download you have to buy if you want that. These games are original masters, which doesn't make any sense at all. I thought Alex died at the end of Modern Warfare 2 2022, Infinity Ward. What? No, screw you. Here he is again. Don't you ever talk bad about him again. You guys like DMZ? You had so much fun in DMZ, you thought it was a fresh take on Call of Duty, and it's some of the most fun you've had playing Call of Duty in a while? Well, guess what? Screw you, bozo. We're actually not going to update it, like, at all, and after this game's life cycle ends, it's going to float belly up like a gutted fish in a lake. You're trying to enjoy Modern Warfare Zombies, MWZ? But you want updates to bring new content to the game? What the heck? Screw you. Here are some bug fixes, and that's all you get, little boy. Infinity Ward has become a shell of their former self. The days of changing the way you play Call of Duty is over, and now Infinity Ward is going to play it safe on every decision, because safe will always equal more money. Speaking of which, why don't we skip to track 2? Call of Duty campaigns didn't always used to be the confusing, underbaked, meme-steamed train that they are now. Sure, there were memes that came out of the campaign. Oh, no, soap! You know, but they were still viewed as tragic stories of war. This scene, even though it was taken as a joke and still is referenced in meme culture today, was actually centered on Price losing someone that he has trained from the beginning. Someone that he had grown close to over the years and had taken under his wing like a son. The campaigns used to be very well made and felt like cinema that you got to control. I'm going to use this mission again, but in No Russian, you're put into this situation where you're extremely uncomfortable at what your allies, at the time, even though you're playing as the enemy, are doing. However, you have to experience it, which isn't entirely true because you can skip the scene, but you get the idea. Even if you choose not to shoot any of the bystanders, the others still do, leading you to hate the main antagonist for his actions. You feel like you are in the wrong group, per se. In the original Modern Warfare 2, you're stripped of your control in the situation, and you have to watch as you and Ghost burn alive at the hands of someone who you were supposed to be able to trust. This creates a hatred towards Shepard, leading you to want to seek revenge. They were masterpieces. But nowadays, it's just not the case. I wish we could avoid the new remaster campaigns for many reasons. They don't follow the original stories, so they're not really remasters. The characters that are introduced are not necessarily interesting. They also introduce something that is sadly becoming a deathly disease within the game, a pandemic, if you will. These are OCMs, or Open Combat Missions. These missions, these dog-anus, lazy representations of missions are horrible. They were introduced in Modern Warfare 3 2023, and were immediately just signs of laziness, absolute laziness, unholy amounts of laziness. These missions set you within like a small area and introduce usually a few objectives to reach before progressing. Why are these missions so bad? Well, because one, they eliminate the ability to back-reference across missions. If you stealthily choose to sabotage the missiles in the first OCM of Modern Warfare 3, which is called Precious Cargo, you could not reference Farah, whatever, violently reaching her missiles in a later mission because it wouldn't align with what you did in that mission. This is why at the end of most OCMs now, the game introduces a linear part of the story that has an outcome that can be back-referenced in future missions. But that means that the first part, the events of the first part of the OCM are just completely forgotten. So what's the point of even doing them? And another reason these suck are the fact that they are lying about the freedom aspect of the mission. If you're in veteran mode on a mission like Gora Dam, the bane of my existence, then getting the bombs defused are your top priority. You know, big man gonna blow damn big dam. You must stop. See what I did there? Get it? Because dam, the dam, it's a water dam, so it's a damn big dam. I'm sorry, I can't help it! However, in Veteran, the having fun with freedom aspect you would have in a mode like Recruit or Easy is completely thrown away. Now you have to worry about every single angle, every single possible threat on the map. Because with one wrong move, a sniper from the other side of the dam can see you and you're exposed. The game essentially turns into a game of stealth, and this isn't unique to this mission either. Now you're essentially playing Metal Gear frickin' Solid without the fun part that Metal Gear Solid has. This is supposed to be an action-packed, Mom, there are bullets flying at me, get the pizza rolls ready, I want to be home game. But now I'm having to play it like Assassin's Creed just so I don't get one-shotted by a guy that appeared out of nowhere when a guy that was sniping from across the playing grounds saw a pixel of my apparently exposed cock. I could go on about these campaigns, but not all I have to say about Call of Duty campaigns are bad. Just mostly what I had to say about the remaster campaigns are bad. For the other Call of Duties, I have a lot of praises. The characters that exist within the worlds created here are immaculate. Victor Reznov, Frank Woods, John Soap McTavish. Soap, I mean, it's Soap. It's not John. No one knows him by John. It's Soap. Simon Riley, a.k.a. my GOAT, the one and only Ghost. Big Sexy Captain John Price. Vladimir Makarov. Gary Roach Sanderson, but everyone knows him as Roach. Do I need to continue? I could go on for hours with these. These characters, along with being placed in historically famous, although not exactly the same, situations such as Vietnam and the Cold War, create this beautiful gaming bourbon that I enjoy poured over an oversized piece of ice and sipped on little by little, letting the flavors take me to a place of bliss. I don't even drink. People may not even do that with bourbon. But I always see bourbon as like, this oversized piece of ice in the tiniest glass imaginable, and you just kind of enjoy it over time. So I'm just assuming that that's what it's like here. Let me ask someone. Hold on. I need answers.
Oh gosh. Okay.
All right. How do you drink bourbon?
I don't.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I don't drink bourbon.
Shane.
Yep.
I need you.
Yeah.
How do you drink bourbon?
What do you mean?
How do you drink it? Like what do you use? How do you drink it slow? Like explain.
It's not a shot. It's more of a sipping type deal. You put ice in there.
So is it like the big funny like big cube ice?
Yeah. If you're really fancy, you can use circular ice, but mostly cube.
Okay, so do you drink it slow?
Yeah, definitely slow. You'd never want to shoot a bourbon. It's not a party shot. It's more of a campfire subtlety sipping experience.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that my my reference in my video made sense. That's all. I'm just basically getting reassurance. Anyways, without getting carried away again, the campaigns are able to play out well. I mean, the way the games are designed is to have you as a part of the team. You never really make the lead decisions yourself, but are instead a part of a team under someone else who makes those decisions. This builds immersion between you, the physical player, and this fictional person you're portraying within the game world. If the leader you're working under makes a harsh command or call that you do not agree with, like in No Russian, or even in Modern Warfare 3 2023, when Price doesn't kill Makarov in the stadium, you feel anger, but you can't do anything because you're just a part of the team. You have to trust that the leader is making the correct call, just like 99% of soldiers had to do during these events in the real world. You, the actual human being, is questioning the choices of your video game leader. You could just turn the game off. You don't have to keep playing, but you do. And you're physically mad at the choices being made by a blob of pixels. That is the immersion aspect that kept me hooked to this franchise of games. Not only the fact that the characters in the story keep me hooked, but the challenges that are introduced through trophies in the campaigns are well thought out and bring a whole new way of playing to the player. I love these trophies. I'm not referencing like the veteran trophies. I'm talking more like the fun trophies that make you go through like specific missions and do random tasks to earn a trophy. Kind of like how Hitman Freelancer gives you side quests sometimes you can accomplish and you get rewards for doing so. Kind of like that. One of my favorites is in Ghost, actually, where we're rappelling down an elevator shaft. You have to go out of your way to get hit in the face, specifically with the copying machine that falls down the elevator shaft. And another good one is in Modern Warfare 3 2023, the remaster, where you have to pick up a propane tank, throw it at an enemy's face, and then shoot the canister to blow that enemy up. It's hilarious. It's like kicking them in the balls first, then cutting their balls off right after. It's hilarious. But these trophies make you take new approaches to the game, and it can create such a fun time or grind for those who like to grind out trophies. The campaigns today may be a far cry from the action-packed thrillers we got back in the day, but I do think that Black Ops 6 actually changed that statement in a way. Sure, Treyarch did decide to implement open combat missions in here, but they actually managed to do one well, so that's at least better than Infinity Ward's track record with them. But I think that this campaign was fun. It had interesting storylines that were all tied together nicely. It had interesting set pieces and ideas for world progression, which I enjoyed. And it even seemed like these new characters we were introduced to, like Marshall and Sev, had kind of interesting backstories that were revealed the more the story went. Black Ops 6 was a step in the right direction, but I just hope that these campaigns continue to get better instead of regressing like they did between Cold War and Vanguard. Oh my god, I didn't even talk about Vanguard. Good thing I'm doing this series of videos covering every Call of Duty campaign, because I forgot to say a lot about these campaigns. Stay tuned for those videos. The selling point of Call of Duty for me has always been the multiplayer. A game where you can engage in gun-to-gun combat with your friends or against other people is always a recipe for some sort of fun. Whether the game is a buggy mess or a life-changing experience, there's always some sort of fun to be had with an FPS game that is a multiplayer. Unless it's Extreme Paintball. Ignore Extreme Paintball. That game's bad. But I'm going to split these games into sections or eras. I'm going to focus on one era, which will be from COD 4 to Black Ops 2. One era from Ghost to Cold War, then an era from Vanguard to today, Black Ops 6. The multiplayer in Call of Duty 4 was one of the most fun examples of a multiplayer game in all of mankind coding together words to make a video game history. The gunplay is almost 20 years old, yet holds up better than games made in 2015, 2020, even 2023. And yes, two of those were Bethesda games. Nikki Jakey has two great videos called Bethesda's... Actually, he has one great video. It's all summed up in one video. Bethesda's game design was outdated a decade ago. In that video, he talks about how Bethesda games are behind in time when it comes to shooting and melee gameplay. He even references Call of Duty 4 as a game to go back and play if you want to see just how truly bad games like Starfield and Fallout 4's gunplay really is.
I'm serious, sit down, play Starfield for an hour, and then go boot up Far Cry 3, or Bioshock, or Call of Duty 4, or any game in the orange box, and then go back to Starfield and tell me how it feels.
But Call of Duty 4 wasn't the only gem in this area. In fact, almost every multiplayer in this first era was a gem. Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3. To me, Modern Warfare 3 to me is controversial because while it's fun, it is the weakest in that era to me. I know a lot of people liked it, but to me, it's just the weakest because in a field of diamonds, if one diamond's not as shiny, it's still a diamond, but the other diamonds are just shinier, you know? But we got introduced to so many maps that we could use to destroy our friends in private match. In this era alone, we're introduced to these maps like, here, listen to this. These maps: Crash, Shipment, Nuketown, Rust, Firing Range, Jungle, which, to me, I like Jungle, so it's a classic map, but Raid, Hijacked, Slums. Do I need to keep going? Do I really need to keep going? I think we understand. Not to mention the guns. The guns in this era. The M16A4, AK-47, AK-74U, Ballista, DSR-50, MSMC, Vector, MP5, Galil. I'm stopping. I'm stopping right there. because this was the epitome of multiplayer gaming to me. From 2007 to 2012, especially with the release and success of Black Ops 2, Call of Duty had the world of multiplayer gaming in a chokehold. I remember spending hours in lobbies of Black Ops 2 grinding the MSMC and playing Kill Confirmed on Hijacked, and that was basically my early days of playing FPS games. It had its flaws, I mean, especially with hackers, but the hackers conversation will come up in a few minutes if I can get there, if I remember to talk about it. But as far as this era of gaming, it was almost perfect. It just had a few flaws. But then we get to the beginning of the decline. It's not necessarily the decline yet, because there are a few games that are good within this era, like Ghost, Black Ops 3, World War II, and Modern Warfare 2019, which were actually pretty good multiplayers, with fun maps and decent gameplay. But, however, the multiplayer was taking a decline. Ghost saw not so great fan reaction, but there was kind of a bit of a dichotomy there, because you just had the best Call of Duty of all time, and now Ghost releases, so no one's going to like it as much. But Advanced Warfare saw even worse reaction from fans. And then Black Ops 3 brought it back a little, because Black Ops 3 was kind of good. But then it just bottomed out again whenever Infinite Warfare came out. Then even more in World War II. Then even more in Black Ops 4. I mean, do you see the pattern here? Like, the devs of these games needed to do something, and they needed it to be fast. You know, in 2017, the gaming world was being overran with this little game. I'm not sure if you heard of it. It's kind of a small game by this tiny company. I guess I'll tell you just in case you've heard of it. It's called Fortnite. It's just a really low underground game. But the world was being overran with Battle Royale games like Fortnite and PUBG. And traditional games such as COD. I mean, not only COD, but also Battlefield was starting to notice a steep decline in players. So, due to this, Call of Duty decided to take their multiplayer experience and, you know, add a new little level by introducing something called Blackout in Black Ops 4. Blackout was Call of Duty's Battle Royale answer, and it did decently well for itself. It gained a lot of respect within the Battle Royale community, and even I enjoy playing Blackout. I freaking loved Blackout. It was so fun. It was a creative take on Battle Royale gaming, and I still miss it. But Call of Duty had now found success in this path, and their actual multiplayer began slipping. They tried to fix a problem by creating a new problem. In traditional Call of Duty fashion, you know, they abandoned something that the fans loved, which was multiplayer, to focus on what would make them the most money. Blackout had the opportunity to make them millions in microtransactions from kids with their parents' credit card, just like Fortnite and PUBG were doing. So why would they focus on multiplayer? There was no reason to, which led to Black Ops 4's multiplayer to be one of the worst multiplayers of any Call of Duty game up until that point. And I will stand by that. I know it was like fun to some people, but I think that was one of the worst ones of all time. Even to this day, there's been worse, but still, it's one of the worst. But it was abandoned for Blackout. That's why it wasn't that great. They were focused on Battle Royale. In my opinion, I think that's what happened. But then Call of Duty would release something even worse. Their biggest cash cow to date. In 2019, Call of Duty, more specifically Infinity Ward. I put this all in Infinity Ward. They're just the devil. They are Satan. They are the spawn of Satan. More specifically, you know, probably the money-hungry pricks at Activision, but it's all Infinity Ward. Yeah, I blame this on them. Warzone dropped. Warzone. This was the start of Call of Duty's downfall. They completely shut down the updates of Blackout to focus on Warzone. They also quit caring about their multiplayer mode in a way, which led to 2019 having some of the worst maps of all time. Piccadilly, Superstore, Broadcast. I mean, that's just a few. But the gunplay, I mean, the multiplayer was the multiplayer was fun. The multiplayer was actually pretty fun. But it was weird. It didn't feel like a decent multiplayer. Now, people get nostalgic over it, myself included. I miss Modern Warfare 2019. But at the time, man, it just didn't feel right. But, I mean, we enter Cold War. We get Cold War. And Cold War just shakes everything up. It's a fun revitalization of the multiplayer aspect. They released actually fun maps, actually fun gameplay, gunplay, and they even began promoting their professional league more, so fans can get more content from the game. You know, the Pro League had been around for years, but people knew names like Scump, Formal, C6, you know, all of them. But now Activision was pushing it more than ever. But the maps, oh my god, the maps included bangers like Miami, Diesel, The Pines, you know, while clashing them with throwback maps that were fan favorites like Raid, Slums, and Hijacked. Cold War was a smashing success. Even though it had Warzone, the game itself wasn't plagued because of it. They even added game modes like Prop Hunt for fans, which made the experience even better. There was no way that Call of Duty wasn't on the come up after multiple years of decline. Surely this was the turning point. Call of Duty's back, baby. No, absolutely not. Welcome to the present era of Call of Duty, or like I like to refer to it as, I want to be a pro player so bad, pretty please, or the what even is this game anymore era. Remember how I said Call of Duty was beginning to push their professional like Call of Duty League or the CDL around this time? Well, they kept that same energy going into Vanguard, which was the 2021 installment. And Vanguard was okay. Vanguard was fine at best. The multiplayer had some okay maps like Bokage and Gavudu. Okay, I'm struggling. I admit it. I'm struggling. But fans of the game were starting to watch the CDL more and more. And players were wanting to try and become these professional players more and more. Players began spamming ranked play. They began taking public matches as if they were World Series matches. They lost the ability to play the game as a fun way to pass time and began trying to be the best in the world. The Call of Duty League doesn't help at all with this. I mean, even today and in the very next installment, Modern Warfare 2 2022, guess what? We got even worse multiplayer maps, we got even more Warzone, and we saw more players sweating their balls, dick, nuts, and scrotum off in every public match of free-for-all. This game blessed us with such war crimes as Border Crossing, Tarak, Valder's Museum, Koro Village, 4 maps that I consider in my worst maps of all time conversation. But the CDL was growing more and more recognition, and guess what else was? Players were now mostly playing Call of Duty because of Warzone. Warzone was still sitting at an all-time high player count. People at this point were assuming that if you asked them, hey, want to play Call of Duty? You actually said, do you want to play Warzone? But this game did something beautiful to multiplayer that I'm still really happy about to this day. It's called DMZ. DMZ, or Call of Duty's take on Escape from Tarkov, because at this point they were in their let's copy from every game we can era, was actually super fun. The extraction shooter, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful fresh take on the game that was growing stale. Me and my friends played the crap out of that game. There are even videos on my channel still up of us playing DMZ. And some of my favorite gaming moments of all time came from playing with the boys in DMZ. My hands are getting sweaty. Needs weak arms are heavy. Vomit out sweaty mom spaghetti. Womp. I'm like a dog. I'm like a dog. Put my head out the window. Aroo! 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 They ain't gonna shoot at us. Oh god. Oh my god.
Incorrect. Sir,
oh my god. Oh god. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean 6.
Honestly, I don't even know if I'll buy GTA 6.
I will. I've been waiting this long for it. I'm not just gonna freaking not buy it.
Well, the thing is I only play GTA for story mode.
Okay, it's probably gonna have a
just
story mode.
boring for me.
Yeah, story mode is gonna be
What,
fucking wicked.
probably? Well, isn't the main character supposed to be a woman in this one?
What does that matter?
I'd say they'll do.
I gotta be
no, it's not-
sexist on
I'm saying-
twitch.tv/itsneon.
I'm not even being sexist. I'm just asking.
But in the all too familiar actions of Activision, they stopped funding updates for this mode to tend to Warzone. And shockingly, a little bit of multiplayer. You know, the multiplayer of this game may have been dog piss, but they actually put some time and effort into the updates of the multiplayer. It baffles me that they put all this time in, and after the game is done, there's only one good map that is even remotely remembered. But hey, Greenberg Hotel is just a good map. There's no arguing about that. Now we get into Modern Warfare 3. Black Ops 6 is here, and I have some stuff to say about that, but I want to discuss Modern Warfare 3 2023 for a bit. The Call of Duty League is gaining traction to fans everywhere, myself included. I never really watched the CDL until this game, and 30 to 40,000 people were watching every match. It's easy to say that the CDL was kind of hitting a peak, and Warzone was as well. Competitive Warzone was beginning to gain the same amount of attraction that the CDL was, and this led to Activision taking a step back and saying, why not give them something to enjoy? And this led to the multiplayer getting some actually good maps for once. Karachi, which, I'll admit, Karachi was just a remake of an older Call of Duty map. Terminal, which was obviously, again, from another earlier game. And Estate, which was from another earlier game. Wait a minute. Yeah, so their ideas of giving fans some awesome content to enjoy was to just kind of cash in on nostalgia by bringing back multiple fan-favorite maps. Karachi, Scrapyard, Terminal, Estate, High Rise, Favela, and Afghan are just a few maps that were brought back in this game from another installment. Later into the game's lifecycle, they did give us some actually pretty decent original, as far as I'm aware, maps, such as Rio, Six Star, and Vista, but they were still just cashing in on nostalgia by having the other maps. And not to mention, this game was once again a game where everyone took everything seriously. Pub matches were ruined by sweats that wanted to make it to the pros. Warzone was still massive among the community, and DMZ was a long-forgotten relic of ancient times. A reminder of how fast Call of Duty is willing to ditch something the fans enjoy for cash cows such as Warzone and the new-look CDL-inspired multiplayer. But, now Black Ops 6 has been out for around a month. But I want to put us in a place in time. It's nearing the end of Modern Warfare 3 2023's life cycle, but Black Ops 6 isn't released yet. The question now for Call of Duty multiplayer is, what is this game? This game relies heavily on the success of Warzone. It wants to have popularity in the multiplayer like it used to, but they refuse to listen to fans and keep serving a slop on a stick. Or two sticks if you want to imagine they're served on joysticks, Get it? So what is this game, right? So what is this game? The CDO is an extremely cool idea that other games also have. Halo, Valorant, CSGO, they all have professional leagues, and I believe Call of Duty should as well. But this, along with skill-based matchmaking, are ruining Call of Duty's level of enjoyment. I have videos coming out about both of these topics specifically, and how much they're ruining the fun of Call of Duty, so I won't cover that too specifically right now, but I heavily attribute these factors as kind of the death of multiplayer. Black Ops 6 is kind of bringing the multiplayer fun back. The maps are atrocious, everyone feels like bullet sponges, but at the same time, the guns are satisfying to use, and the overall movement and feel of the game is just fun. However, that still doesn't stop the game from feeling like you're constantly playing ranked after you have one good game. However, if you want to take a break from Call of Duty, you can always go over to Growing up, me and my neighbor would always hang out and play Call of Duty. I was a massive fan of multiplayer, as I just ranted about, and my friend was a massive player of zombies. Every time he would come over, he would refuse to play multiplayer, and we would always have to end up playing zombies. We would rotate between Transit, Town, Buried, Origins, Die Rise, and the longer I played, the more I'd want to be playing multiplayer. I would beg him to play multiplayer, but he insisted on playing zombies. But I'm kind of glad he did this. Even though I thought he was a dick at the time, looking back on it, this is what made me the zombies fan that I am today. And now, almost the only thing I play is zombies. So, let's rewind. So Treyarch is releasing World at War, and their stroke of genius for this game was to add a game mode called Zombies. This game mode would feature smallish maps with generated bots that would run around and deal damage to the player if they got close enough. More zombies spawn in per round, leading to the difficulty increasing for the player, leading for a fun mission for the player to see how far they could go without dying. This was a stroke of genius, and it remained as Treyarch's somewhat staple through today even. I didn't personally get hooked on zombies until Black Ops 1. I liked World at War Zombies, but I just didn't want to play it. And no, I wasn't scared to play. Guys, I wasn't scared to play alone. I see that look you're giving me. I swear it wasn't that. Okay, I just didn't want to play zombies because I didn't want to play alone. And I was playing multiplayer alone. And what's the point of playing zombies alone, right? I didn't want to. I wasn't. Anyways, Black Ops 1 brought me 5, and while most people don't really like 5, rightfully so. Going back to this map, it's kind of atrocious, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the idea of killing zombies in this realistic-feeling governmental facility was a really cool concept. It is based off a real government facility, but just the fact that I was in it just felt really cool. And this isn't even mentioning Darius, Shinonuma, Kino, Shang, like all those maps that I played until the joysticks of my controller were on their last legs. Like, I was a massive fan of Black Ops 1 Zombies. But, oh my god, what was coming was special. Black Ops 2 Zombies was a life-changing experience. Me and my girlfriend still play Black Ops 2 Zombies because we can't get enough of it. Now, I admit, I had my fun in Black Ops 1 with zombies and multiplayer, but with a multiplayer as good as Black Ops 2's multiplayer was, I didn't see a need in playing zombies. This is the game that me and my friend had our feuds over, like I mentioned earlier. I understood playing zombies in Black Ops 1 because I wasn't like the biggest fan of the multiplayer. I really enjoyed it. I played the crap out of it. But compared to zombies, I was picking zombies faster than Infinity Ward steals ideas from other popular games. Anyways, I thought I saw like a sniper laser on my head. So I think I'm going to stop trying to talk about Infinity Ward. But anyways, I didn't see the need to play zombies. But however, with my friend constantly breathing down my neck, it grew my love for this zombies mode over any other zombies, even to this day. I mean, transit may be annoying and missing the bus because your friend is wanting to hit the mystery box 40 times, and you know, then he gets the teddy bear, and then the box moves, and you run out of ammo, and you don't get a max ammo. Then the bus comes back, but as your friend is getting on the bus and is driving away, a zombie drops down inside, so you try to kill it, but you can't without ammo, so, you know, now you can't get the gun inside it because it's on the back of the bus, you're stuck at the front of the bus, so now you have to leave the bus to not die, but now you miss the bus again, and now the cycle rinses and repeats. This map was still really fun. And Town, which is just a smaller portion of Transit, as well as Farm, which is also just a smaller portion of Transit, are super fun maps that me and my girlfriend play all the time. Origins is obviously one of the best maps of all time, as well as Mob of the Dead, Die Rise. Well, okay, so Die Rise wasn't my favorite, but it's good. I like Die Rise, but oh my god, I have to talk about my favorite map. My first time that I ever stepped foot into Buried, I was taken back by the visuals and the idea of having this buried town underground as a mean of a zombies map. I mean, it was the perfect idea. In my script, I wrote it twas, and I just really like that, so I'm going to roll with that. It twas the perfect idea. The whole thought of a zombies is that, hey, you know, zombies come from the earth as undead corpses, and now Treyarch is taking us underground to kind of like the zombies like home. It feels really cool. It's like we're entering the zombies' territory in a way. And I became immediately obsessed with this map. I've heard every voice line so many times that, you know, I know most of them off the top of my head. How dare you take my money? What the hell do you want with my money, ghost? Yeah, I know a few. But the dynamic between the Visits or the Vikets, I don't remember how to say that, but the crew we are able to be met with here, which is Russman, Misty, Marlton, and, you know, Sam, have a chemistry about them that is really amusing and seems a lot more open than it does in Transit. Buried does have a story, but it's very complex and wrapped up in connection to at least like 3 or 4 other zombies maps. So, forgetting about the story, the map itself is just fun to play and fairly difficult as the rounds go higher. But that's where my buddy Leroy comes in, baby. Let's go, Leroy! Leroy, which the community calls him, or Arthur as his parents called him, or Big Fella as Russman calls him, is a character that you can unlock from a jail cell to help you with your fight. If you feed him candy, he'll kill zombies for you. If you feed him candy while facing away from the mystery box, he becomes extremely angry at the mystery box for some freaking reason, and will hit it to cause it to stay at that location, so I mean, like, thanks. And if you give him booze facing away from a pile of debris, he can open new areas in the map. If you give him booze while anywhere else, he just gets kind of excited and runs into walls. So, you know, pop off. But Leroy is awesome, and I love Leroy. And speaking of Leroy, I haven't seen him in a minute. Wait, please don't tell me. Yeah, so if Leroy decides that he is going to, kind of wander behind the zombie you're shooting at, and he catches a stray bullet while doing so, he goes back to his jail cell. And now you have to hunt down the key to unlock him. Again. But that's what makes this map so cool. The fact that there aren't these fancy traps you can activate or these fancy weapons you can, well, okay, besides the paralyzer. But, like, instead, it's a big guy you can feed to kill zombies and progress in the map. And Buried is just this, like, really cool idea that I don't think has been topped in a zombies map. But that's just my opinion. I plan on releasing a video covering more maps in particular, so I'll stop here with that. But I love Buried so much, man. Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 Zombies, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't a fan of a lot of these zombies. Like, sure, Shadows of Evil was cool, but it just felt like I was playing BioShock. I played a few rounds, hated Gobblegum, hated every other map, so I just never returned. And same with Black Ops 4, I played like 2 matches, didn't have fun, and quit. So to me, I felt like Zombies was dead. But Treyarch did what they do best and revived something that fans thought was dead. Hey, Infinity Ward, take notes! Treyarch released Cold War and released the best Zombies mode we had seen since Black Ops 2, I think. Die Machine, Forsaken, and Mauer der Toten have been revered as some of the best maps ever. And even though I didn't play much of it personally, I still watched people play and admired how cool this Zombies mode looked. I plan on going back and playing Cold War Zombies more on stream because I genuinely believe it is one of the best Zombies games of every Call of Duty Zombies. I have went back and played a little bit of it already, but like I just think it's good. But oh yeah, hey, remember a few seconds ago when I said Infinity Ward needs to take notes? Well, they did. Kinda. You see, Treyarch was given 2 years to work on their next game, so Infinity Ward now had crazy pressure on them to release games in back-to-back years. Fans were used to getting a Zombies game every other year, and Infinity Ward didn't like the idea of letting the fans down, for once. So they decided to put Zombies into Modern Warfare 3 2023, and even asked Treyarch to help because they couldn't come up with an original idea themselves. However, a Zombies mode developed by Infinity Ward with help from Treyarch? Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's see what they're cooking. Psych! You thought you were gonna get an actual Zombies mode? Are you kidding? We need to make money! Here's a Zombies mode that is completely open world on the Warzone map that we're never gonna update for the fans that really want updates. Look at this idiot! Yeah, so they gave us MWZ. MWZ was fun at first, but man, it fell off quick. After they promised us massive updates like the Tier 4 update, they never even considered giving the fans those updates. They did a few bug patches and added like 2 new encounters and those little like tornado thingies, and then wiped their hands off of the slime this caused so their precious fingers didn't slide off the keyboards while programming the next Warzone update. Bro, come on! I was enjoying MWZ, but I gave up after I seen that they were going to treat this the same way that they did DMZ. Why get attached to something if it's just going to be another letdown? That being said, MWZ was a really cool concept that I was excited for, but it got ruined by the greedy pricks at Activision, but I put the blame on Infinity Ward. Black Ops 6 has Zombies now, and it feels phenomenal. I mean, I love both of the maps that they have in the game so far in Liberty Falls and Terminus. And the Easter eggs connect really well with storylines that Treyarch has cooked up in every previous Black Ops entry. And the gunplay and zombie kills feel so satisfying. The camos and calling cards you can unlock are really cool. And Treyarch has already announced upcoming massive updates, like adding an entirely new map that is supposed to be massive called Citadel. And Zombies is slowly being revived. But the dark era of Black Ops 4 and MWZ really left a bad stain on the history of Zombies. Some Black Ops 4 maps are not bad, but just not good enough for me to consider them as a bright spot of the franchise. With all that being said, and I didn't even talk about Spec Ops, I love Call of Duty. It's hard not to like the game that took me in as a child and raised me on the war violence and killing the undead and killing my friends with guns. But this game is one of the best-selling franchises of all time. It's sad to see that it's starting to slip into corporate greed like it is. And, like, hey, here's a launcher that puts you next to all of our other games. Hey, have you considered buying any of those, by the way? Hey, here's a crappy microtransaction that every other game is developing and making billions on. Want to buy a 21 Savage skin? I did. But hey, here's a lazy excuse of a map pool for Black Ops 6 because we want to focus our time and effort on what makes the most money, and that's not multiplayer. It's sad, but at the end of the day, all we can do is enjoy what's not being ruined by Activision yet, and enjoy what's not made by Infinity Ward. Zombies looks like it's on the come up, multiplayer looks like it's getting better, and the campaign this year wasn't a mess, so maybe things are looking up, but who really knows? If you enjoy watching this video, please subscribe. I want to start making more scripted videos like this where I just cover random gaming things that I enjoy, and I have a ton of ideas for this series. So please, if you enjoy any of this, subscribe and stay tuned for more videos like this. And leave a comment below on what you think about like Call of Duty. I know you probably didn't like my opinions, but I'm just curious of what you have to say. So also leave a comment for recommendations on videos. I mean, why not do that? I may make some of your recommendations in the futures. I'm open to anything, so thank you all. Don't get arrested because you can't watch the videos in jail, I don't think, unless you sneak a phone in. But, yeah. Bye.